Good morning. Welcome to the Barn Sunday Morning Services. I am Jesse Lee Peterson, exploring your faith hour. You can call in by calling the number on the screen or email or fax or hashtag Jesse. I've been wanting to say that for a long time. If you have any questions or comments. And good morning, everybody here.
Good morning.
I'm glad to see everybody. You're supposed to say me too. Any questions before I get rolling? Can everybody turn their cell phones off, please? Please, please, please. Did they make their announcement beforehand? All cell phones are put away, please. Barbara, put the phone away.
I'm the exception.
No, you're not. It's amazing that people are so addicted to the phone, they can't give God 1 hour. Even in church, they're on the phone.
But the phone is the Bible.
Oh, that's what you're doing, looking at the Bible on the phone?
Oh, yeah, you can word search and everything.
Oh, but we didn't bring up any Bible verses and thing yet. What are we looking at?
Ten Commandments.
Oh, you're trying to learn them in case I ask you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not cheating.
I had asked about the 10th commandment before we started here, folks, and only a few people knew them, including myself. I know all the easy ones, like the regular ones. Any questions about anything? Anybody had a life this week? Anything? Yes, sir.
Just observation. I was walking and doing some things yesterday, and I realized how much time I'm not home here in the body. My mind is elsewhere a lot. It just something I noticed, and it's amazing how much I'm being pulled away from just being aware of what's happening right now.
Most people are unconscious most of the time. They don't have that mindset of God. They're not one with God. And it's unfortunate because we're losing society as a result of it.
And it seems to be almost because I'm so used to living outside the body. It seems like almost want to struggle to not live outside. It's just like the way I would normally do it is live outside. It's like I'm more used to living outside the body than in the body.
And we say live outside the body, what do you mean?
I mean not being aware of what I'm doing, basically. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, not aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So, just throw it out there. But I just noticed how blatant that was and how prevalent that is in my life just
Right.
yesterday as I was doing things.
That's good. Right on. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I observed that how blinded we are of our own
Well, not we, say you. Because are there others attached to you?
I wouldn't know that.
So you're talking about you right now, right?
Well, I was going to say I noticed that how people are blinded to their own personal history.
Oh. But how about for you though? You don't know that.
Well, I did explain an incident that happened years ago. A well-known crime that happened.
Oh, okay. I don't really want to get into that today.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just make it short.
Okay.
And that person I told it to hardly have a memory of that.
Oh, well, that's fine. I don't remember the crime either. We want something more personal than that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I've noticed how in relationships, if you are not careful, how a person can eclipse into your life. And
Did that happen to you?
yes,
What does eclipse into your life mean?
I think during the course of the relationship, whereby you feel you have a need for a person, and that person meets that need. That's what I mean by eclipse. So you become accustomed or used to that person, and when that person is not around, you sense the loss.
Yeah.
But when that loss it begins to diminish or begins to die, so to speak, you realize that that person was eclipsing your relationship with God, because of your incorrect or inappropriate.
So you're
relationship
realizing
with.
that about your
Yes,
life right now?
I'm realizing that.
Good, man. I've talked about this before when I used to date. I would get so into the woman that if I wanted to break up with her, I would have to find another woman so I could break up with this woman, because if I didn't, I felt so empty and lost, and this seemed like I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, because I had identified with that person so much. I realized this week something else about that. You know how you go to seminars and conferences and things to learn from other people, or you may be in training by another person? I realized that it's easy too to get caught up and lose yourself like that too. You won't just learn from the person, but you turn over your whole self to the person. And so you stop learning. It's so easy. And you find yourself relying on that person rather than just having that space there and just learn from that person, but don't lose yourself. It is really easy to give up ourselves to someone else, to everybody else but God.
Yes.
And I notice that people are doing that a lot, giving over themselves to others, but not to God.
Yes.
And that's what happened in those kind of relationships as well.
Right. So when you face it, and you're alone, you can face that, and that it's kind of interesting because it makes you it makes you rely more on God. It's kind of difficult to explain, but you feel that something has been taken away from you.
Yeah.
And everything becomes more open, so to speak.
But it doesn't necessarily make you rely on God, because at the time I wasn't aware enough or had the understanding of what was going on with me.
Yeah.
When I would break up.
Yeah.
I didn't rely on God. It didn't make me rely on God. It forced me to find someone else to replace that person.
Yeah. And I see that temptation there, but what I see, I can see that there's nothing, that there's no woman or there's no thing or person that's gonna complete me. I can see that, so I can see the domino effect of the futility of going that way.
Are you feeling sad and lonely and all that too?
You know what? It's diminishing now. I'm actually surprised how little, how less it is.
So you are feeling that way?
A little bit, yes.
You are feeling that way?
A little bit, yes.
You felt that way much before now? More before now? I mean, are you overcoming it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised how as this person is stepping out of my life, how God seems to be stepping into my life
And
simultaneously.
how do you know God is stepping in?
Because I feel a little bit lighter on my feet. I feel that if I turn to Him to make me complete, opposed to that need I have for another person, that it's happening.
And how do you know it's happening?
It's just a knowing that where to turn to be fulfilled. It's a knowing because there's an infilling. There's an infilling of life when I look at this need for another person, and I see it as not a wholesome need, and actually an obstacle to connect with the real need of God, and I remain still with it, and I feel an infilling that He is supporting me, and He's making me
How long you been
more
with this
independent.
person?
18, 19, 20 years, about 20 years.
20 years.
About 20 years.
20 years. I wish you well, man. Don't replace it with ice cream or anything.
Yeah.
Are you eating more already?
Actually, I'm eating less.
Oh, you can't hardly eat?
No, it's not that. It's just.
So that's how it was for me. I
Yeah.
couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Anybody ever got to that? When you break up with someone?
It was. I
You
got
can't
to
eat,
that.
You can't sleep. You can't.
I went through that years ago with my first relationship, and when I was totally. But again, I'm a little surprised, and I'm a little bit thankful on how well I'm taking it.
Well,
And
good,
I don't,
man.
I don't want to.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's good. Stay with the prayer. Are you praying?
There's more time for that now. There's absolutely more. I have no time, but my job. my job was taken away from me. I was working for 12 years, earning, a really good salary. That's been taken away from me. So I have nothing but,
So you lost as a person and you lost your job
yes,
too.
simultaneously practically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you praying?
Yes, there's nothing else for me to do. Even when this huge boredom comes along, I observe this boredom or observe this loneliness,
Yeah.
and it goes away.
Oh, good.
And it's starting to go away. It's not completely
Right.
all there, but
Well, I wish you well.
thank you.
Be patient with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will.
Good, man. Yes.
I want to talk about a little bit about someone teaching you something and they have an expertise, because I went through that. I've been going through that. But it kind of relates to what I was saying about not being here in the body, because it seems because of certain unawarenesses I'm having of not really paying attention, certain things are going on all the time.
Yeah.
And so I found myself in situations where I'm learning from other people where I lost my own vision of what's going on and gave over to their instructions.
Oh, okay.
And it's not good. It's not good. But it's only because when I'm to the degree I'm not aware of what's going on. Because,
Why is it that it's not good?
Because I lose I lose control in a certain way. I can't think of the right word, but whatever's going on, I can be taken in a direction in that case. If I've given over at that point, I am now kind of like they're captaining the ship. So if they want to take the ship, into an iceberg, for instance, I'm going to die with it. So, but that's what happened is I'm allowing certain things to go on.
Yeah.
And kind of like I'm putting more weight into their way of seeing things than my own in these
Yeah.
particular areas. These people have expertise. They know what they're doing. And I kind of put a certain trust in there and let them captain the ship.
Yeah. A lot of people do that with doctors and lawyers and things too. They turn their lives over. They let the doctors make the whole decision, the lawyers, and you find yourself in trouble that way too. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we have the Holy Spirit inside of us to teach us. We really do have that. He's there to teach us all things, to perfect our lives, to teach us all things. So when you're learning from a human being, you're supposed to have a little space there and not even try to hold on to what they're teaching you. Let it go in one ear and out the other one. But if you trust the Holy Spirit, the information is there when you need it. But a lot of people, they just get into the person or people, whomever is teaching them, and they just lose themselves. They don't move forward. And a lot of times people don't, a lot of teachers don't believe you can do it anyway, and they won't tell you that, but you've spent your whole life learning from someone who didn't even believe in you. God gave us a provider. I listen to people and I learn from people, but the Holy Spirit is my teacher all the way. That's how I learned to run a business or run an organization or run my life. He's teaching me. He's there, but a lot of people are unaware of that, so he's not teaching. And as soon as something goes wrong, I had a guy this week, something went wrong at work, and he just tripped out. Instead of learning from it, calming down and learning. It's in us to know everything. Everything we need to know, God has provided. He really has. Everything you need to know, he's given to you to know already. That doesn't mean we don't come together and learn from one another, but don't make that person your sole provider, your God. That makes sense? Because anything that replaces the true God inside of you is going to mess you up. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to move forward in life. And all of us have the ability to do something, You learn along the way, but don't lose your ability to do what you know to do. I knew nothing outwardly. I've never been trained to run a business. I haven't gone to college or to the seminars and all that kind of stuff. And it's weird how before I started Bond, I had a janitorial service for 7 years and had 7 full-time employees, non-black.
You had
What? All Hispanics. No, I'm just kidding. You got boring. That was supposed to be funny. But the point is, I was learning as I was going, as I was moving forward. I learned as I needed to know. You know, like for example, you want to start a business, you don't have to go and learn a 5-year plan about a business. You're not even promised 5 years. You learn what is the first step that I take. You take that first step, then you'll see the second step and the third step and the fourth step. And you'll just be moving forward. And that doesn't mean you don't learn from others, but don't lose your steps. Stay in your place. But people are so weak and vulnerable today. It is so easy for them to turn their lives over to someone. It's mind-blowing. And I got some perfect examples of that. That's not what I had planned to talk about, but since you mentioned that, I have perfect examples of that. One quick example, you know, before homosexuals came around and started this crap about getting married, we had what we call husband and wife. Remember that? We used to have that. Remember? This is my husband. This is my wife. Now people say, this is my partner. They've allowed themselves to be taken over by someone else's ideas. And those ideas are wrong. They are absolutely wrong. But you have preachers. I've had preachers on my radio show say, are you married? I ask, are you married? Yeah, I have a partner. I'm like, oh, are you married to a man or something? I know. Oh, you're saying partner. You have a wife. Why do we have to give up ourselves and give up what is right because some other crazy person came along with another idea? It is so crazy. Partners mean gay. They came up with that idea because they didn't want to be reminded of husband and wife, because they don't want to be reminded that it's wrong to call yourself getting married. So they're shutting that word down, and the children of God are going right along with it. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, that's really amazing, Jesse. Yes. That's just one small example. I have truckloads of them. Yeah.
But this situation does tie in with lack of faith
Yes.
on my part. And I noticed that, when I'm going to learn something, I have this like pursuit of knowledge, I'm going to learn this, so I'll go after it in a knowledge-based way, which of course you're going to want to learn some knowledge, but
Yes.
I go over the top with this stuff. But I do notice that it's totally related to not having faith in the
Absolutely.
Spirit to guide me through it.
You don't have faith in God that he would do it.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And yet you would say you're a Christian.
Yes, I would.
See?
And I know the Ten Commandments.
I think a whole lot of Christians know the Ten Commandments. That may be a problem.
But
You
one-
got to live the Ten Commandments.
One
not
of them
just
doesn't
know them.
seem to be to follow the Holy Spirit
Yeah.
through life.
I was talking to my brother this morning. One of my brothers on the phone. My father's in a convalescent hospital. He has Alzheimer's, which used to be called senile. Yeah, but now it's Alzheimer. Does Alzheimer's sound better than senile? I know. And so my brother and I was talking, and my dad is like really mean now. And he's like beating up his wife. And he's not, when he was growing up, he wasn't, before this happened, he wasn't an angry, violent kind of a guy. And now can't nobody live with him, so they put him in a convalescent home, gave him a roommate, and he beat up the roommate. And so they had to take the roommate out. I'm like, what is wrong with him? And I realized what it is. My dad was was mean at all time. Before he went senile, he was already mean, but he controlled that meanness. He didn't really let you see it for the most part. And now his mind is going, there's nothing there a filter is not there to stop it. So it's just coming out now. You're seeing the real person. I'm going to see him on Thanksgiving Day. I can't wait to see him. I'm going to beat him up myself. I'm going to show him violence. His ex-wife was telling me, oh, he tried to, what she said, beat me down. I'm like, wow. But he's always been mean. It's just now coming out. And that's how things are. People control the stuff that's there. You got to let that stuff go because at some point it has to come out. Let it go now while you know what's going on. Were you done?
No, I was, I was just thinking about my mother was exactly the same way, actually.
Oh, it was,
She got, Alzheimer's and those kind of things, and she got very mean towards the latter part.
Oh,
but that makes sense because, you're saying the mind isn't controlling it.
Yeah.
The anger's already there. They were kind of holding it
the
back.
ego is in the way, so you try to hide it.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
was really a kind of a fake kind of person.
Yeah.
In the sense that, she would show us one thing behind closed doors as the public.
Right.
So I think as it got out, there was a meanness there that just went out.
No
completely.
shame.
Yeah.
Oh, the reason I brought that up about my father is because you mentioned no faith. You have no faith in God. And most people don't have faith in God. So I was talking to my brother this morning about that. He was like, well, how come my dad is sick? Why is he sick? He believed in God. How come, I have an aunt who was sick too, an elderly aunt who was sick as well. So he was saying, why is this happening? And I said, well, it shouldn't be happening. We're not supposed to get sick. We're not even supposed to die. He was like, no, that's not true. People dying all the time. And I said, well, didn't God take the sting out of death? I mean, Christ took the sting out of death. He conquered death so that we wouldn't have to worry about it. And my brother said, yeah, that's right. I said, didn't he heal us from sickness and disease? He conquered that too. Yeah, but everybody doing it. I said, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it should be done. It's the right thing. I said, everybody getting fat too. Should we all get fat? And he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I said, just because everybody is doing it, that doesn't mean it's right or that we should be doing it. He said, but I've not seen anyone that haven't died. Everybody died. I don't know anyone who hasn't died. He asked me, do you know anyone who hasn't died? I said, I think in the Bible, God took some guy up with his body. Yeah. Who was that? Enoch. Yeah, he didn't die, right?
No, walk with God, God took him.
Yeah. And so he was like, that's not enough. He need more example.
Jesus also said that there are some among you who will not see death till I return.
Yeah. Thank you. He's like, that's not enough. I need to see it before I can believe it. I said, so you're one of those guys who doubt. You got to see it before you can believe it, and that's not faith. Faith is seeing it. It's believing without having to see it. And, how do you get faith without having to see it? How do you live by faith before you see it happen? And I think that's a struggle for a lot of folks, too. They say, oh, I'm living by faith, but they're really not. And then the first time you throw something like that at them, no, I need to see it first. Most people are not living by faith, and that's why you would put your life into the hands of someone else, because you don't have that faith in God. You don't have that faith, and that's what the problem is. That's why a lot of people go to church, and they hear the preacher talking, reading the scriptures and quoting the scriptures, and then the people pick the scriptures up too, and then they'll go out quoting the scriptures. The Lord said, don't do this, acting like they're Christians, because they don't have even the faith to do it on their own. They're just learning from someone else and repeating it. And that's not a way to live. That's not a good life at all. You don't really have life if that's how you're living. You want real life. You want that life that comes from within. You want the real deal, and we all have it inside of us to do it. Yes?
It's not like it doesn't exist. I have access to seeing,
Yes.
It's just, when I become aware and then someone's talking in front of me and they're saying something and I have a certain distance, in your words, then it's there. It's right there.
That's right.
It's not like it doesn't exist at all.
That's right.
It's just that, like I said, I'm vacating.
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I'm vacating. I'm vacating. I'm not there, so I can't see. But when I'm actually there, I see. So when the person is saying something, it's like, wow, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What I wanted to talk about today is that God talked about presenting your body's a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. And I wanted to ask the question, are you presenting your bodies a living sacrifice? And this came from Romans 12, verse 1, where it says, I urge you then, brothers, remembering the mercies of God, to offer your bodies a living sacrifice, dedicated and acceptable to God, that in the kind of worship for you, and as sensible people. That is the kind of worship for you as sensible people. Do not model your behavior on the contemporary world, but let the renewing of your minds transform you so that you may discern for yourselves what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and mature. Are you presenting your bodies a living sacrifice? Is what I want to know today. And before I give you some notes I made here that I want to share with you, and I wrote these things down because I really wanted to remember to share with you. But first, let me just ask, is there anyone in the room, anyone, who is presenting his or her body as a living sacrifice unto God? Only one. Yeah, we all should. We all should.
I don't do it 100%.
Oh, hold on one minute. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're presenting your body a living sacrifice
Right.
unto God.
We should all do that.
Right.
And-
He tells us to do that.
Right.
And you
Now,
are doing it. Right.
Yes, I try to. Admittedly, the flesh needs certain sustenance to survive, and you have to do that. You have other responsibilities. But definitely, we should all be doing that.
What does it mean because you saw no hands go up around here, right? So everybody need to be saved. What does it mean to present your body a living sacrifice? How many people thought of this before today? Am I presenting my body a living sacrifice? Only 2-3 people thought of it. What does it mean to present your body a living sacrifice?
Well, everything we do, we think, we should say, should be to glorify God.
Yeah, but give me examples of like what? Examples of what we should not be doing.
Well, we shouldn't be serving our own lusts.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be...
And you don't serve your lust?
I endeavor not to.
That's a big word.
Well, I try not to.
But sometimes you do?
Well, God knows we're but dust, and I have to appeal to the mercies of God, and that's what it says right here. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God. So throw in the God's mercy.
So sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't? Is there a problem with his mic?
Too close.
Oh,
Too
pull it
close.
away from your mouth, yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like this? There you go.
Okay, go ahead. Sometimes you give into the lust.
Well, you have lustful thoughts. Sometimes you do what you want, and you're not... It's not that you purposely, but you do what is pleasurable to you, which may not be the most, or the best way to show your love and service to the Lord.
Right. And at the time that you give in, do you think to yourself, wow, I am not presenting my body a living sacrifice right now?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
As I reflect on it.
After it's all over.
Right.
And you look back on it.
Right, but then again, I've made plans and actually done things that are not to my economic benefit in order to serve the Lord and to help other people. And there's many times.
Is it possible to not, you mentioned thoughts too, sometimes you give into your thoughts, right?
Yes.
Is it possible not to ever give into that kind of temptation? The
Yeah, you should
temptation?
think in the Lord.
Right.
Right. They say if they fill the barrel with wheat, I defy the devil to fill it with tares. So if you get your mind on the righteous things, it says one of Paul's letters, think of good thoughts, pure thoughts, wholesome thoughts that will blot out that others.
But it's a problem doing that all the time, right?
Certainly, we live in a sin-cursed world. It's more than ever. We walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Just turn on the idiot box, and there it is.
You're right about that. Absolutely right. How about you? You said, no, you're not doing it. You're not presenting your body a living sacrifice.
Well, I think that's where I'm like a student learning to go that way, and I'm understanding that language recently. So for me, it's I'm the last few years I've been awakened, and now I'm just I'm learning. I'm trying to figure this all out. And I'm trying to pray. I'm trying to subdue my anger and my pride and let God in. So I do understand it, and I do know that is what I'm trying to aim for, and I'm happy about that. And it's a joy. It's a joyful journey. I guess I'm still a little frustrated, but less and less as I go along.
And what are you frustrated about?
Well, just like my pride, my impatience, wanting to know the answer now or the answers.
Yeah.
But I'm learning. I enjoy it. So.
And do you know not to be frustrated about what you can't do?
Now I do,
Yeah.
It's sort of
drop
another-
the frustration. Otherwise, you'll be stuck for a long time.
Still am, but I know not to be.
Yeah, let it pass. So it's amazing that no one other than the 2 or 3 people who raised their hand, no one else have thought about this, presenting your body as a living sacrifice. Right? Yes, sir. And you're not doing it.
Well, it depends on how you define it. Everybody can define it different. Everyone can define it differently. So,
What do you mean by defining
if I
it
define
differently?
it as getting Kool-Aid, then I am living with or living as a sacrifice.
But when you hear that, when God said, present our bodies as a living sacrifice, what does that mean to you?
To me,
Yes.
well, you'd have to dig into it in the context of the whole scripture as a whole. If you take that to be the living word of God, and the living word of God's pretty enormous, and the one golden rule is to love each other like ourselves. That's really all we're responsible for, because everything's encapsulated in that one thing. Therefore, I would conclude that
Hold it a little further.
Frankie, hold it.
therefore,
Hold it
I
for
would
Frankie.
conclude
Hold it for me, Frankie.
here.
Yeah.
Therefore, I would conclude that do I love other people as myself? Yes, because I love myself little. It's very easy to do that, to love people that much.
Oh, okay.
So I am living like a living sacrifice in that definition, yeah.
I really pray that there'll come a time when you really get to know yourself, that you really seriously, as human beings, pay attention to yourself. Because if you get to know yourself, all this that you need to know is already with you. But something need to happen that will cause you to keep your eyes on yourself. As a result of people most Christians not presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, things have changed so drastically in our country that I just don't know if it's ever going to go back to norm until Jesus returns or something happens. And you mentioned about, he said, look at the soap box. You turn the idiot TV on, the whole world, everything is like upside down now. And so it's hard, as a result of everything being upside down, it is hard for Christians to present themselves as a living sacrifice, because the competition against them is so great now until a lot of them cave in. They give into it. They become afraid to speak out about it. They become afraid to be an individual and not change with the way things are going. They are afraid of losing a job or friends or family members. And the world is absolutely falling apart. For an example, in Hawaii this past week, Chicago and Hawaii just recently signed into law the same-sex marriage bill. And in Hawaii, most of the people were against same-sex marriage. And they had hearings for about 8 days or so. That's how many people were against it. And yet, the local government said to the people were like, let us vote on it. We don't want this, let us vote on it. And since there were more people against it than for it, the local government decided that they were going to make the decision and went against the majority of the people. Isn't that amazing? They went against what the people wanted and voted in same-sex marriage. And in all honesty, I was a little surprised to see Hawaii come out like that and stand up and rally and protest for something, because I thought it was more of a liberal state and that they would be more in support of it than against it. But on this one, majority of the people were against it. And the state just took it out of their hand. They wouldn't let the people vote on it and decided that was going to do it. That should not happen. If majority of the people know that this is wrong, this is not what they want, they should be getting what they want. They shouldn't have to sacrifice their values for this kind of stuff, because now that Hawaii has signed in this law, the children of God who are against it, if they go against it, if they speak out against it, they could be sued. They could lose jobs. They could lose whatever now, because the law has turned against them.
They have destroyed the First Amendment.
Yeah.
That was their intent.
They have destroyed the First Amendment and the family values and everything, the thing of God.
They called Jesus Christ a liar. That's exactly what they did. Jesus.
Yeah.
God founded the institution of marriage.
But you
God
know who
founded the institution of marriage back in Genesis,
Yeah.
and Jesus affirmed it in Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 18, and,
Yeah.
and also in Mark 10. So they just called Jesus Christ a liar. And they have preachers doing that too.
Exactly. The churches are doing it. Even if I never read the Bible, there's some things you just kind of know is wrong, you know? Like stealing, you know it's wrong to steal. The Bible doesn't have to tell you that. It's in you to know it's wrong to do certain things. You know that it's wrong to go to someone's house and destroy their home or something, you know? These kind of things we already know, but the Christians are not, they don't realize we have a teacher. They don't realize we have the power and that we don't have to let this stuff happen. It doesn't have to happen, but something has gone wrong with the Christians. They're not living upright. They're not presenting themselves holy unto God. Something's going wrong. In Oregon, there was a football coach. Oh, let me ask this question first. I asked this on the radio show. There was a football coach who took his middle school football team, was it middle school? Middle school football team to Hooters after they won a game or won championship or whatever. They went to Hooters, and the football coach was fired once the word got out. Apparently some of the parents didn't know about it. A lot of the parents didn't know it. They had a fit about it. So the football coach was fired for taking the boys, the middle school boys, to Hooters. How many believe that the coach should have been fired for going to Hooters with the kids? Oh, I'm surprised. Majority believe that, right? That he should have been fired.
Well, he's supposed to set a good example.
Well, yeah.
And-
Oh, hold on for the mic. I'm sorry. You need a mic there.
His first priority is to. Oh.
Frankie, you hold it. Hold it for
No,
him.
here, is this right?
No, that's right. You shouldn't
All right,
have to
there you
worry
go.
about
Thank
that.
you.
Go ahead.
His first priority is to build character in these young men.
But how about the
And
idea?
Hooters is there to promote, to me, sexual promiscuity and lusts of the eyes and lusts of the flesh. So I think he's doing a disservice to the young men.
But how about if those boys went to the beach, they're going to see the same thing?
Well, it's not as flagrant.
No,
it's
yes, it
not
is.
commercially. It's not commercially
No, it's
promoted.
worse at
And,
the beach.
and I'll
Sir.
tell you, if it is worse,
Sir.
then he shouldn't do it.
It's worse at the beach. You go to the beach, those women don't have on anything. The guys don't either anymore. And kids are seeing that all the time. They have gone beyond bathing suit now. They just put a little string on.
Well, that just shows how
And that's true.
heathen our culture is.
No, but I'm saying if they go to the beach, they're going to see even more, because at Hooters, at least you have on short pants, a tight top, and somebody said they wear stockings under their socks. I'm not. Have you ever gone to Hooters?
Sir, I'm not going to be going to Hooters.
Right. So how about the women are a little bit better dressed at Hooters than they are at the beach?
Well, I don't generally go to the beach, and I was at a swimming meet, and I can tell you that the swimsuits were absolutely vulgar.
Yeah.
absolutely vulgar, and hey, everybody, isn't that neat? No, it's not neat. It's vulgar. And
So what do you
we
say
should
to
be
the-
aiming in the gutter. We should be aiming towards the stars.
What
and
do you
towards the
say
Lord.
to folks who say, well, they go to the beach and see even worse things, so why are we going to Hooters?
Well, I would say if you're into going in areas where there's temptation for lustful viewing, then you shouldn't go there.
So don't go to the beach either?
Well, if people are that decadent and you don't have to, I would say probably not.
So avoid the beach, okay.
Well, if people are not going to be dressed in a modest way. In fact,
Well, that's all.
Bible tells us to be
We
modest.
don't even know what modest is at the beach anymore.
Well, I know that, but
Yeah.
that's one of the problems.
Yeah, I'll come back. Yes, ma'am.
I think, okay, I haven't digested this, but just as you were talking, I don't think there's anything wrong with him taking the kids. I don't think there's anything wrong with Hooters. I think maybe it was inappropriate for him to make the decision to take all the kids to Hooters without the parents' permission.
But
Because some of the parents might take their kids to Hooters all the time, might take their kids to the beach, and it's everywhere. But there might be some parents who don't take their kids to those type of activities.
Right.
So I think it was just inappropriate for the coach to step beyond the,
You agree?
permission slip kind of deal and just decide to take a busload of kids there.
I've been to
So,
Hooters.
so hold on just a minute. So if the parents, all the parents have said yes, it is fine. You can take our boys to Hooters. You thought it'd been fine then?
Well, yeah, because they're the parents.
Oh, okay.
It's not the school to discipline or, even though we may not agree with it, they're the
Right.
parents. And if they all agree to take the kids to Hooters,
Oh, okay.
it's a public place, it's America.
It's a public place. It's America. Okay. And you say you agree with her, right?
Yes, I do. And the beach and the Hooters issue to me it's not. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound the same. When I go to the beach, I don't mind that women are dressed, scantily or whatever.
You don't mind?
Nah, I don't. It's up to me. It's up to me to make sure I don't look at them that way.
Right.
That's totally up to me.
And how
That's
about
fine.
Hooters?
And I go there to swim in the sun and whatever.
How about Hooters?
When at Hooters, you specifically go to Hooters. Their main marquee is large-breasted women.
No, that's wrong.
And the second thing, that's
They
why
have
it's called
good
Hooters.
chicken
That's
wings
why
out
is it called
here.
Hooters?
But let me ask, so are
You
you
know-
saying that as long as the teacher had the parents'
Yes, I also agree
permission,
with that. Yes.
that it was okay to take the boys to Hooters?
I think that isn't a step in the right direction for your kid. However, I can't, from a Puritan perspective, say don't do it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm asking you,
I
are you
agree-
saying, give me a yes or no, and because of time, I'm
Okay.
on a little rush here. Are you saying that if the parents had okayed it, because that's what the young lady was saying, if the parent okayed it, then there shouldn't be a problem with it? Are you saying the same thing?
I have to think about that one, or I have to. I would say it's not right
What's not right?
that you allow your children at a certain age to go to Hooters.
But I thought you said you didn't have a problem with it, as long as the parents okayed it. You just agreed with her.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm saying that that I'm okay with him getting fired for not consulting their parents and giving somebody, like, say he's
But
a
how
parent.
about if he had consulted the parents?
I think that he shouldn't have got fired. Yes.
I mean, how about, should he have taken them to Hooters if the parents said, yes, it's fine?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, how about you? You agree with that? This is so interesting to me. Isn't this like something else?
Their business is propaganda says family.
Yeah, hold that thought for a minute. Hold it. Yes, yes.
I think American parents are just looking for something to sue someone or to just like make a big deal out of something that should not be made big deal out of. What I'm thinking is those
Give me a yes or
parents-
no first. Was it okay, you thought as a person, if the coach had gotten an okay from the parents, would it have been okay to take the boys to Hooters?
To be honest, in America, I don't know nowadays what's okay, what's not.
No, in your own
anymore.
personal opinion.
I
It's not,
really
listen,
don't
it's
know.
not a contest. This is all about knowing yourself. It's all about what we've been talking about. So is nobody going to win a prize? I know.
So to be honest, if I was the parent, if I was one of the parents, I would teach my child that this is just a body part. Okay, whatever. You see people naked on the street. What about it? Okay, just a body. But
So-
depends how your mind is looking at it.
Right.
There are people who have dirty minds. That's another thing.
So would it have been okay as long as the parents said fine, yes or no?
I think yes, because if I take it on myself, if I teach my child that just the body part, it doesn't mean anything, I would be okay. You can go anywhere you want. I trust you.
Right.
And you should know your limits.
So you're saying, yes, it would have been okay for these middle school boys to have gone to Hooters as long as they got permission from the parents.
Yes, if
Okay.
I don't want my child to go places like that, if I don't take my child places like that, you cannot.
Why is it okay to take these middle school boys to Hooters? Why is that okay?
Because there's nothing special about Hooters. Okay, big deal.
Have
I
you ever
don't see
gone
it
there?
that way. No.
I hear they have good fries.
Okay, they have big bodies, whatever, but it doesn't make a change.
So you're saying, yes, it's fine as long as the parents okayed it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. You been to Hooters?
I have one thing to say.
So let me first ask, is
Yeah.
it yes with you two?
No.
If the parents gave them permission, it was fine to take the boys there?
I don't know about that. I just want to say the
No,
restaurant.
answer that for, I need to get that.
What is it?
answer.
What is it? What's the answer?
Was it okay for would it have been okay for the coach to take middle school boys to Hooters as long as the parents okayed it?
I think it doesn't matter either way. He can go either way, and this is the reason why.
Why?
Why I think it's a good decision is because when I see, which is shocking to me, which I don't really care, but it is still a little shocking, and is that on
Make
all
sure
of
you keep it clean. Though.
on all of the business propaganda that they've put out for their restaurant business, underneath Hooters, it says family restaurant. I've been in there before, and I've offended some of the waitresses calling them strippers, and they are more covered up than a regular cheerleader. If these
Right.
if these
That's what
guys
I
are
hear.
coming from the sports world, it is absolutely norm, and that's a sports themed restaurant. It says family restaurant on all of them. So how's he responsible for the way that they're billing themselves?
Uh-huh.
And that's the sports
So
world.
let me just restate the question and
sports
give me a
world.
yes or no on it. Had the football coach gotten permission from all of the parents first, and they said yes, would it have been fine to go to Hooters with the kids?
Either way, he's
No, give me
okay
a
for
yes
him
or
to
no
go.
on this one.
He can go if they said
Because
no.
it's
He
about
can take
going.
him.
It's
Yeah,
about the
if
fact.
they said no, he could still take them, in my estimation.
Oh, even if the parents said no?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's totally normal.
Let me ask this young lady here. You said it wasn't good that he took them to Hooters, right?
Okay. Actually, okay, hold on a second. Actually, my thoughts on this are basically personally, I just wouldn't want to have anything to do with that environment. And it just...
But first, give me a yes or no. Should the coach have taken the boys to Hooters?
no, I don't think
Should
so at
he
all.
have taken them had the parents said yes?
If the parents said yes, then that was something that if they had permission and he was able to do that, yeah. If the parents agreed to it,
He
and
should have taken them if the parents
if the parents had agreed to it with permission,
Right.
and then he shouldn't have no problem with that.
Okay, so you're saying yes, Jesse, if the parent had agreed.
If the parents had agreed to it,
Right, it
and
would've
had
been no
permission from the
Okay,
parents.
then.
But
So what was
my
wrong with-
opinion on Hooters is, if you want to know my opinion, it's
But
like
let me
I
ask you this
wouldn't-
before I get to your opinion.
Okay.
What was wrong with him taking them without permission of the parent?
I think when I first hear that, I'm thinking kind of personally of my kids, middle school kids going there, and I'm thinking, that's just not an environment that I really would
Why
want my
not?
kids to be in. I don't know that much about Hooters as far as, it just seems like it's inappropriate, like people dressed, and the way that the waitresses, appear to, from my understanding, is
Have
like
you
they're
ever seen the
inappropriate.
Hooters girls on TV?
I think I've seen commercials and stuff, but it's kind of something that it
Which
just,
one is most dressed? The one at the beach or the one on the Hooter? At Hooters.
That's probably a good question. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I think it's just, from my take on it, is I think that people have to make their decisions. The coach made a decision to do something like that. And when you just kind of let that go and you let everything, you just don't make a stand.
But Yeah.
Good.
But
They're
so, like,
parents.
you
I wouldn't
wanna
want
allow
them
your
going there.
kids to go there, right?
No, absolutely not. I
But you're
wouldn't think
okay
so.
with the coach taking these other kids?
If they have their permission, I have no power with that. If people have permission to do these things, they make their choices. I have nothing to say. What can I do
Okay.
about that? But if I have a,
Because of time, let me just, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry to be rushing. I am in a rush. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I'm just rushing. Because I want to tell you about these things. I want to at least put them out there. I think what people don't realize, it's bad for those boys to go to Hooters, because when Hooters advertises itself, it does it in a sexual way. They don't just say, hey, here's a nice little family restaurant. Come on out and have some fries, right? What's drawing, at least for men, what's drawing men there first is the sexual advertisement of it. So the intent to go to Hooters is for that. Now, apparently, when you get there, the women are not naked enough for you, so you'll be disappointed, to a point that even the food don't taste right. But, but what happened is there is a... Now, I may come back next Sunday and change this, but this is the best word I can come up with now. There is a demon involved in sex, an evil demon that's connected to sex too. And if done before the proper time, it corrupts you. It addicts you to it, it corrupts you. Even when you're dating, I remember when I first started dating, the moment I had sex, I became a different kind of a person. I became addicted to the woman. I had to have sex. That's all I started thinking about, was sex, right? So, yes, there's if done with the right spirit and the right mind, there's a good side to sex too. Like this demon won't take over your life in the manner that he's doing, but most people don't know what that is. So there is an addiction, there is a demon that is involved in sex. Just think about your own relationships, how they change once you have sex. They absolutely change. I personally know women all over, everywhere. You may know somebody too, so I'm not talking about your friend, all right, who deliberately have sex with men in order to addict them and destroy them.
Every woman I've ever
I know women have told me this. They can't help it. And I'm not saying all women are like that, but they can't help it. These particular women who have told me this. They use their sex to destroy men. And so you got these young boys who are not spiritually strong, who are not mentally aware, who is allowed to be put into an environment like that because the intent is about sex. So these boys are going there too with that same intent. They want to look at these women, however they're looking. Spiritually, that's not good for those boys. And if we as children of God, what has happened is the world has made us think and believe there's no big deal to it. They have brainwashed us without us realizing that we have been brainwashed. So the average parent would say, no big deal. Everybody, I go there. I take my kids there. Any parent that take their kids to Hooters is a wicked parent, a blind parent. You're subjecting your own children to a spiritual trauma. It's like you're taking your kids and saying, take the drugs. Hooters is about sex. Now, they're fully dressed or not, they are promoted as sex. And kids, they are not ready for that kind of stuff, mentally or emotionally. Because if you take them there, those boys, especially the boys, because boys get into sex before girls do anyway, right? So they're looking at this image of a sexual female. You don't know the depths of what it's doing to their spirit. And we as parents have a responsibility to protect our children spiritually and physically and financially and all that. But parents, because of the brainwashing, it's no big deal, everybody's doing it, why not? They don't realize they've been brainwashed by the children of the world. They have made things that we knew was wrong before not seem so important anymore. And that's mind-blowing to me. And that's why we're losing. We've been brainwashed, everything. Like, we used to know homosexuality was just absolutely wrong, right? So they changed the word to gay. Gay sounds sweet. And now then they changed it to love. We love one another, they say. And everybody say, yeah, they love one another. And then they changed it to partners. And now everybody partners. We've been brainwashed. The children of God is being brainwashed and don't realize it. And now we're going to have the partners over at our parties, at our dinners and stuff like that. Because look at it. It's not so bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sleeping at your house. We know it's wrong. How can we forget? That's why Hooters didn't seem so bad for a lot of people. Because it's been dumbed down spiritually. Yes, ma'am, real fast. I saw your hand, real fast. They've been dumbed down spiritually.
Then it's not the matter of Hooters. It's the matter of parents. Like as I said, I to be honest, I didn't know that Hooters, that restaurant, is promoted as sexual restaurant, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but the thing
That's
is,
why they have the women with the stuff.
yeah, but
And they call it, I don't know, I just found out what Hooters meant the other day.
what does it
I
mean?
didn't know what it meant.
What does it mean?
I really didn't know what it dawned on me. I talked about this on the radio, about Hooters, and we did a thing on the Facebook about it. But I never thought about what Hooters meant. I just heard the name Hooters and knew they had the women with tight clothes, right? And so I wondered in my office, I was like, what does Hooter mean? And then it came to me what it meant. I never thought, and you see that? So it's all sexual. You know what it means, right?
No.
You don't know what Hooters mean?
No.
See? Breast.
Whatever. Okay, I understand from the reaction that it's a bad thing.
Right, yeah. Okay, real fast.
But it's the matter of families. I know a couple of people that they take their kids to even worse places.
I know, but that's evil, though. That's my
So,
whole point.
It comes to the conclusion that parents are messed up.
Yes.
It's not the kids.
Absolutely. And
So-
I'm not talking about the kids being messed up, but taking them into that environment is messing them up, too. Because the parents are blind. I blame the parents. I don't blame the kids.
Right.
I blame the parents. And what I'm saying is, I guarantee you, if you could talk to those parents, most of them would say that they believe in God. They would say, yeah, I believe in God. I go to church. But yet they send their kids off to Hooters because Hooters doesn't seem like a big deal. And a lot of the parents said to me, well, what about the beach? They go to the beach. Just because they go to the beach and we see that the beach is wrong, there's something going on at the beach that shouldn't be happening, it's not an excuse to send them to Hooters. You don't pick out one thing to justify another one. You know what I'm saying? You don't say, well, they go to the beach anyway, so if your kid is drowning and he's almost underwater, you're just going to dump him.
What about the cheerleader?
You know what I mean? I know, but that's still looking for other excuses. Those things are out of control as well. The cheerleaders are dressing skimpy and all that kind of stuff, right? It's all about the parents.
The parents let these little girls dress like that when they're
Christian
cheerleaders.
parents are doing it. I just want to name these other things that are out of control. Do you know that we're having a race war right now? Yes. Somebody asked me, do you think we're going to have a race war? I'm like, we're already having it. Black people are killing white people like 90 going north. And they're killing them and attacking them and beating them up because they are white. And they hate them. The race war is already happening. Christianity is under attack. You're not allowed to celebrate Christmas now in the public schools and other areas because we have not sacrificed anything as children of God. We are just like the world, so the world has the power over us, and they shouldn't have the authority over us. But we are not conscious enough where we're sacrificing. This socialized health care plan that was passed by the government, we're going to end up paying for abortion pills, condoms, and just encouraging all kind of wrong sex. All that is a part of the bill. We, as children of God, will be paying for that. Isn't that amazing? We don't agree with any of it, but we are paying for it in more ways than one. Sin, we can't use the word sin anymore. We can't say homosexuality or lying or stealing is a sin. Just think about when the last time the word sin crossed your mind. Oh, I mentioned a partner. Tattoo. Putting tattoos all over your body is not sacrificing the body as unto God. And God said our body is the temple of the Lord. And it's there that we should worship him. Not this building, but our body. And I bring all this up, folks, so you can kind of think about what's really, really going on. Thank you for tuning in. We need your tithe and offering. Help us out. God bless you.
For more information, to purchase a copy of this program, or to make a donation, visit us on the web at bondinfo.org or call 1-800-411-2663. That's 1-800-411-BOND.